one more time here at the sheet music. We're going to count 1, 2, 3 with the repeat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, this is Tyler Jazz from BCR Music and Sound. Today we are going over our last and final tutorial of 2020. This is a very popular holiday song. We're going back to the single string melodies that we heard in Jingle Bells, but a little bit slower, a little bit more calm. This week we're going to go over Silent Night. So just a little reminder for everyone, I have a Christmas live stream on classical guitar happening Christmas Eve from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to have you there so you can join me. You can leave a tip in the tip jar. You can just enjoy the music and sit back with your hot cocoa, watch some Christmas movies, and enjoy some classical guitar Christmas music. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump on to Silent Night here. So first I'm going to go ahead and take you right into the sheet music, and then we'll discuss what fingering we're going to be using and move on from there. So here we are. Here is Silent Night. We're going to be in 3/4 this week for this song, and we're going to be using some new notation here. We're going to be using a dotted quarter note, an eighth note, and a quarter note. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1, 2, 3. So instead of what we did with Jingle Bells or the Hanukkah song from last week, we're going to go ahead and change that up here with 3/4 now. So we got the first measure. I like to play the pointer finger on that 3rd fret and the ring finger on the 5th fret. And if you learn the first 2 measures, then you know the next 2. So let's go ahead and do this one, and then we can play 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. So here we are. We're going to do pointer finger on the 3rd fret first, ring finger on the 5th fret. We're going to play it here with the notation, and then you're going to see how I play it when I jump out of the screen share. So here we go. Pointer finger 3rd fret. We're counting in 3/4. So we got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. We just did measures 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this time I'm going to do it without counting, and then we're going to jump out of the screen share here. So here we go. Awesome, so that's measures 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to jump out of the screen share so you can kind of see me play it now. Like I said, pointer finger on 3, ring finger on 5. Let's get it. Awesome, so there we go. That's measures 1 through 4. Now let's go ahead and move on to measure 5 here. What we have going on in measure 5, we're actually going to jump all the way down to the 10th fret. If you look at your dots on your guitar, it is past that 4th dot. So the 1st dot, 2nd dot, 3rd dot, 4th dot, it's the next fret above. So right down there on that 10th fret. So we're going to jump out of screen share and look at this. So here's my 3rd dot on my 3rd fret. So my 1st dot, 2nd dot, 3rd dot, 4th dot, right down the 9th fret. And then right there we're going to be on the 10th fret, but this time high E string. And I like to play that with the ring finger. So go ahead and try to locate that. We're going to play the first 4 measures. And then we're going to locate that 10th fret with our ring finger on that 10th fret, right after that 4th dot there. And we're going to end there on that 7th fret with the pointer finger. So let's go ahead and look at that in the sheet music. So looking at the sheet music here, looking at measure 5, we're starting with that ring finger on that 10th fret high E string, and we're going to count it like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have a dotted half note there, which is counting for 3 beats, which we saw earlier in the beginning in measures 2 and 4. So let's go ahead and go over that again. We got ring finger on 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pointer finger on 7. So when we're talking about measure 7 and then measure 8 here, I like to use my middle finger to put it down on the 8th fret high E string on measure 7. And then I like to use the pointer finger once again on that 3rd fret on measure 8 there, counting in 3 beats. So let's go ahead and do this here. We're going to do this from measure 5, ring finger, 10th fret. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So right there we just did measure 7 and measure 8 alongside measure 5 and 6. So let's go ahead and take it from the top. So let's go ahead and jump out of the screen share, and I'll show you how I can make this these transitions a little bit easier here for you. So I'm going to take it nice and slow, and you're going to watch my transitions and how I make it seem a little bit effortless. So let's go ahead and try this out. So here we are. We're going to start from measure 1 here, and here we go. Awesome. So that's pretty much just a little bit under half of the song there. So we're going to go ahead and get back to the sheet music here, but I wanted you to take notice, look how my fingers moved there and what fingers we were using and how economic it turned out to be, especially when we got to measure 5, when we talk about 10th fret. Pointer, middle, middle, pointer on that 3rd fret. See how much easier that is? So we want to make everything back into the sheet music here. So what we have here in the sheet music, if you look at measure 9, we have this little repeat symbol. So this is the beginning of the repeat, and then this is the end of the repeat. So it's kind of like you're reading a book in a way. So you start from the left to right. The dots that are over here on the right side on measure 9 means that's going to start our repeat, and the ones on the left here are going to end our repeat. And we can see up here, just barely, there's an X, so that's a times 1. So that means to repeat it 1 more time. And then after the repeat, we're going to jump into measure 13. So anyways, talking about measure 9 here, we're going to do measure 9, pointer finger, 5th fret, and it's the same timing as what we did in measure 5 with those 10s. So 1, 2, 3. So right there's that timing there of measure 9. 1, 2, 3. There we are. And then what I like to do, thinking back to chromaticism once again, we're looking at this 8, 7, 5 on this high E string. So I like to go pinky, ring on 7, and pointer on 5. So pinky on 8, ring on 7, pointer on 5. But we're going to do the timing correct now. So this is the timing of the beginning, just the same exact timing there. Same thing, same timing. So here we go. So bam, 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 with that pinky. So we got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and jump out of the screen share here, and we're going to check this out with my fingers. So starting there on measure 9, where we have that 5th fret pointer finger, we're going to count that out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. So let's do that one more time without the counting. So here we go, starting on measure 9, that 5th fret pointer finger. So as you can see, we got that pinky on the 8th fret, ring finger on the 7th, pointer on that 5th. So let's do it again, 9 and 10. Awesome. So 9 and 10, that's probably one of the hardest measures to do, because now we're going to look into measure 11 and 12. And guess what? It's the same exact thing as the intro. Same exact thing. So if you can do the intro, you can do 11 and 12. 11 and 12. Easy. It's the same thing as the intro. We got that pointer finger on the 3rd fret, ring finger on that 5th fret. Awesome. So let's do measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we're going to go back and start from measure 1. So here we go. 9, starting on measure 9, pointer finger 5th fret. Here we go. And slower this time. Remember, we're going to do that pinky finger on the 8th fret, ring on the 7, and pointer on the 5th fret there on measure 10. So here we go, nice and slow with the sheet music. So jumping out of the screen share here, you're just going to see what my fingers are doing. So same exact thing, measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. So we did measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to jump back and we're going to do from the beginning here. This is a great way to kind of break everything into chunks, make it consumable, and make it easier to learn. So let's go ahead and start from measure 1, and we're going to end on measure 12 here. And then we're going to talk about how that repeat comes into play. So here we are, measure 1 with the sheet music. I won't be talking until we get to, we're going to jump out of the screen share again after this. So here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, so that was measures 1 through 12. And then we're going to address the repeat here. All that means is we're going to start the repeat here in measure 9. Remember we talked about those double dots on the right side. And we're going to end the repeat here on measure 12. So this is just a repeat of this section. So if I were to play all of this for you with the repeat, here's how that would sound. We're going to play with the sheet music together. 1, 2, 3. So there's that repeat there happening right there. So basically what that means is we would end there on 12, and then we would repeat back here to measure 9. So if we're thinking about this lyrically, we've got silent night, holy night, all has come, all is bright, round your virgin mother and child. So round your virgin mother and child, we have that your virgin mother and child. And then we got holy, where that's a repeat. So that's a repeat when we hear that holy. Holy infant, so tender and mild. So when you hear that holy, that's when we know the repeat. So if you're looking for other ways to think about how to relate the music, you can always relate it to lyrics as well. That's actually a fun way to learn guitar music and where the form happens. It's not the best way, but it is a way. I like to use it sometimes when I'm teaching my students. So anyways, moving on past the repeat, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you with the repeat, jumping out of the screen share so you can kind of see where my fingers are, and then we'll move on to the last couple measures of the song. So here we go with the repeat, starting in measure 1. Awesome. So that was measures 1 through 12. You got to see how my fingers kind of work there. And now we're going to jump on to the rest of the sheet music for the last few measures. So the last few measures, we start here on measure 13. Get this, measure 13 looks identical to measure 10. It's the same exact thing. Except this time what I like to do is I like to start with that 10th fret with my pointer finger here. I like to start with the pointer finger because we're going to anticipate what's happening here in measure 14 when we hit that 13th fret. We're going to need that ring finger to catch that 13th fret here. So we're going to go ahead and start that here, starting in measure 13, and then we're going to walk through 14. So 13, we're starting with that pointer finger, 10th fret, high E, 1, 2, 3, and that's our timing. So on to measure 14, we have, starting with measure 13, pointer, pointer, ring, pointer, pointer, back to 7 on that high E string. So starting there, and remember that 13th fret is just the first fret above your double dots. So a lot of guitars have these double dots here marking the 12th fret. So our 13th fret will be the next fret right there on that 13. So what I got going on here is starting with that previous measure with the 10th fret, ring finger. You can use a ring finger or you can use pinky. Pinky's not a bad option as well. 10, 10, 13, 10, 7, pointer finger. So you can slide that pointer finger from that 10th fret to that 7th fret. Yep, here we go. And cool, that's how we're going to end that section there. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. Then again with the sheet music here, starting with measure 13, let's do this together. Pointer finger on that 10th fret. And again, starting 13 and 14. Cool, and now we're going to walk into measures 15 and 16. 15, we have that 8th fret. We're going to be using our middle finger here for the 8th fret here. So that way we can walk from that 7 to the 8. And then we're going to 12. That 12th fret on the high E. You can play that really with any finger. I like to play it with a middle finger or a ring finger on that 12th fret, just because we're going to have to get back to the 8th fret once again there in 17. So let's do this together. We'll do it nice and slow, starting from measure 13. All right? So remember, we're going to do middle finger on that 8th fret, and then we're going to do ring finger. Let's do ring finger on that 12th fret in 16. So here we go. And as you can see, I'm sitting there counting that one. You can count those dotted half notes. Remember, they're 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. So starting right there in measure 15 with that middle finger, 8th fret. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So let's do it again. Once again, starting in measure 13 to 16. Pointer finger on that 10th fret. Let's do it. Awesome. I'm going to jump out of the screen share so you can kind of see what my fingers are doing here. And here we go, starting down measure 13. Awesome. So now we're going to jump over to the last 3 measures of the song. The last 3 measures of the song are a little more challenging just because we're going to be bringing in that B string here on measure 18. And then we have a C major chord. So if you know your C major chord, awesome, you're ahead of the game. If you don't know your C major chord, here's how you can form your C major chord here in tablature form. And obviously, if you need additional help with your C major chord or any chord, feel free to schedule lessons with me on the Book Now button on the Facebook page, or email me at tyler@bcrmusic.com. So anyway, starting back here on measure 17, I like to start with that 8th fret with the ring finger here. So it's the same timing as the beginning, except we're going to be doing this huge jump from 8 to 3. So I want to go ahead and go over that. I'm going to do the ring finger on the 8th fret pointer finger on that third fret. I'm going to show you how to do that jump. That is a pretty big jump. So let's go slowly with the sheet music. 8, 3, 0. So ring, pointer, open, ring, 8, pointer, 3, open. So let me go ahead and walk you through that in the outside the screen share here. So here's what I like to do, and it's a great pivot point as well for you to kind of jump from 8 to 3 pretty quickly. So here we go. So if you're having a hard time locating that third fret after you've bounced from 8, and you're kind of like, oh no, where's that third fret at? What I like to tell my students is check out the dots. Most guitars have these little dot icons here, or some other kind of inlay. Some places will put shark fins on the guitars, like my Jackson guitars. Some will put little squares, like my ESP. But most of them are little dots. So the little dots on your guitar, the third fret is that first dot there. So we talked about dots earlier in the lesson. So what I like to do here, when we get back to that measure, we go 8, 3, open. If I want to locate that third fret, I want to locate that first dot. So you can either see the dot here on the side of the guitar, or you can see it sometimes on the fretboard. Right now with my guitar that I have here, my dot for the third fret is non-existent on the actual fretboard, but it does exist here on the side. So depending on the kind of guitar you have, you may or may not have dots corresponding with certain frets. But all the dots are always the same. So you don't have to worry. That first dot is always on the third fret. So back to the lesson here. We would go 8, look up at the third dot, 3, open. So 8, 3, open. Let's do it nice and slow. Ring, pointer, open. Ring, pointer, open. Cool. And let's go ahead and jump on to the second to last measure and the last measure. So this one might be the most challenging just because we're going to be switching strings here. So we're going to do ring finger this time on the third fret, pointer finger on that first fret, and then when we switch to the third fret on the B string, we're going to be using that ring finger again. So same timing as the last measure, where we had that dotted quarter note, that eighth, and then that quarter note. So ring, pointer, ring, ring, pointer, ring. If you read sheet music, G, F, D, G, F, D, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1, 3. So let's go ahead and do 17 and 18 together. Let's try that nice and slow. 8, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3 on that B string. Let's do it again, no talking this time. Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump out of the screen share so you can see what I'm doing there. Starting from that 8-3-0 there. And again. Awesome. And then finally, we're going to end it with that big C major chord. If you know what a C major chord is, like I said, you're already ahead of the game. If you don't, we can go ahead and look here at the tablature here, and you can see these are stacked tabs or stacked notes, and that's what creates our chord there. And you can go ahead and figure that one out. If you need additional help with chords, once again, let me know. We can definitely schedule a lesson and talk about all kinds of chords. Cool. So that is the entire tutorial of Silent Night. So let's go ahead and go through this together. We're going to keep in mind of the repeat here happening from measure 9 to 12. We're going to do it with the sheet music once through, nice and slow, the whole thing with the repeat. And then I'm going to jump out of the screen share so you can see me do it. And we can play it once again with the repeat, but this time no sheet music. So here we go. We're going to start. We're going to count in 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go there with measure 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that one more time here at the sheet music. We're going to count 1, 2, 3 with the repeat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody, that was the tutorial for Silent Night. This is the final tutorial of 2020 and the holiday season. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you want to see more tutorials in 2021, definitely let me know. Otherwise, remember I still have that Christmas Eve live stream of classical guitar for Christmas music coming up Christmas Eve from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And as always, if you have any questions or you want to schedule lessons or a free 15-minute meet and greet, you can hit the Book Now button on the Facebook page. You can send me a message or you can email me down there below at tyler@bcrmusic.com. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on this tutorial. This was Silent Night. I'm Tyler Jazz. I can't wait to see you guys on a Zoom chat soon.